Have you ever felt as though the weight of the world was resting on your shoulders? Have you found yourself wondering if there is still a path of hope when everything around you seems uncertain? And have you ever asked quietly in your heart, "Lord, who will lift me up today?" These questions echo deeply within us, and it is exactly in these moments of longing that the timeless words of Psalm 24 rise like a light breaking through the clouds. This psalm reminds us that the earth belongs to the Lord, and so do we, that nothing is beyond his reach, nothing escapes his care, and no burden is too heavy for his hands. As we listen to the ancient voice of the shepherd King David, we are invited to remember who our God is, the one who established the world upon the waters, who holds creation together, and who opens doors that no one can close. And in those moments when fear tries to take over, Psalm 24 whispers a truth that steadies the soul. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? It is not a question meant to discourage, but one meant to awaken us. It calls us to lift our eyes above the noise, above the doubts, and above everything that tries to steal our peace. Perhaps today you feel distant from God, or maybe your heart is tired from carrying battles that no one else sees. Perhaps you wonder if you are worthy of drawing near to his presence. But Psalm 24 teaches us that the Lord welcomes those who seek him with sincerity, those who desire clean hands and a pure heart, not perfection, but openness, humility, and trust. And when we approach him with that honesty, he meets us with mercy. In this moment, as you allow these words to settle into your heart, imagine the gates of your life being lifted, every closed place, every fear-locked door opening wide, so that the King of Glory may enter. Who is this King of Glory? The psalm answers with power. The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. He is the one who fights for you, who stands by you, who breathes courage into your spirit when you feel faint. Let these truths prepare your soul now, because in a moment we will turn our hearts fully toward God in prayer. But before we begin, allow yourself to breathe deeply and remember this: you are not alone. The God who shaped the earth is the same God who shapes your journey. The King of Glory is approaching, ready to lift you, guide you, and fill your heart with renewed strength. As we continue reflecting on Psalm 24, let your heart settle into the certainty that God's presence is not distant, nor reserved for a select few. The psalm begins with a declaration that shifts our perspective. The earth is the Lord's, and everything in it. These words are more than poetry. They are an anchor for weary souls. They remind us that nothing in our lives escapes the gaze of the one who created all things. When we feel overwhelmed, when life seems unstable, this truth calls us back to a place of trust. If everything belongs to him, then our struggles, our hopes, and even our unanswered questions rest safely in his hands. David goes on to ask, who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? It is a question that invites self-reflection, not guilt. The mountain of the Lord represents closeness to God, a place of encounter and intimacy. Perhaps you have felt unworthy of approaching him. Perhaps you carry mistakes or memories that make you hesitate. But the psalm reminds us that God is near to those who seek him earnestly, to those who desire hearts that are honest and open, not flawless, but willing to be transformed. And then we hear a promise. They will receive blessing from the Lord and vindication from God, their Savior. This means that God does not invite us into his presence to burden us with expectations, but to pour out grace. His blessing is not something we earn. It is something he gives freely to those who turn toward him. His vindication is his way of reminding us that our true identity is found not in our failures, but in his mercy. Imagine now the gates mentioned at the end of Psalm 24. Lift up your heads, you gates. Be lifted up, you ancient doors, that the King of Glory may come in. These gates symbolize the places within us that have been closed, hardened, or forgotten. Sometimes fear closes them. Sometimes disappointment builds walls around them. Sometimes the busyness of life causes us to neglect them. But today, through the words of this psalm, God invites those gates to lift once more. Who is the King of Glory entering through those open places? The psalm answers with strength. The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. This means that God does not enter our lives passively. He comes with authority, with power, with healing, and with the ability to confront every battle we face, external and internal. When he enters, darkness retreats. When he enters, confusion gives way to clarity. When he enters, burdens are lifted and hearts are strengthened. As we prepare our spirits for prayer, consider this. The King of Glory is not hesitant. He is not distant. He is approaching you now, carrying peace where there is unrest, light where there is heaviness, and victory where there is struggle. All he asks is that we open the gates of our hearts, lifting them to him with trust, surrender, and hope. And as we do, his presence fills every corner of our being. As we enter more deeply into the message of Psalm 24, a quiet invitation begins to form within us, an invitation to trust. Trust is not always easy. It is not simply a feeling. It is a decision made in moments when everything inside us wants to retreat. And yet, Psalm 24 reminds us that trusting in God is not a leap into darkness, but a step toward the one who already holds the path ahead. The Lord who founded the earth upon the seas is the same Lord who watches over every detail of your life. Nothing is hidden from him, and nothing is beyond his ability to restore. There are days when the heart feels heavy, when worries cloud the mind, and when uncertainty shakes the ground beneath our feet. Perhaps you have felt that lately. Perhaps you have wondered how to continue when your strength seems small. But the psalm brings us back to a simple, powerful truth. The King of Glory is not only mighty, he is present. He walks with you, he surrounds you, and he sees the battles that no one else sees. And although his power is great, his tenderness is just as real. He meets you where you are, even in the hidden corners of your grief, your fears, and your silent prayers. When David speaks of clean hands and a pure heart, he is not demanding perfection. Instead, he is pointing us toward a posture of surrender. Clean hands represent a willingness to release what we were never meant to carry alone. A pure heart reflects a spirit that is open to God's guidance, even when we don't fully understand his ways. This is the posture that allows God to work deeply within us, not through our strength, but through our openness. In this moment, imagine yourself standing on a high mountain, the wind brushing past you, the sky open above you. From there, you can see the path behind you and the one before you. Every joy, every sorrow, every unanswered question, they all lie within God's view. And yet, over all of it, his voice speaks the same message. Lift up your head, open your heart, let the King of Glory enter. His presence does not demand fear, it brings courage. It does not bring despair, it breathes hope. It does not accuse, it restores. Think of the ancient doors the psalm describes. These doors have weathered storms, time, and seasons, and still God calls them to open. Maybe you have places within you that have been closed for too long, places where disappointment settled like dust, places where you stopped expecting anything new. But today, through the words of this psalm, God is gently reminding you that nothing is too old, too broken, or too hidden for him. The King of Glory enters precisely where we think light cannot reach. As we prepare for the prayer that will follow, allow these truths to soften your heart. Let them clear away the worries that have piled up within you. Let them remind you that God's strength is not distant. It is near, ready to lift you, settle you, and breathe renewal into your spirit. The King of Glory is approaching, not to overwhelm you, but to walk with you into a place of deeper peace. As the message of Psalm 24 continues to unfold within us, we begin to understand that the King of Glory does not merely visit our lives, he transforms them. His entrance is not symbolic, it is real, powerful, and deeply personal. When the ancient doors of our hearts open, something shifts. The burdens we once carried alone become lighter, the doubts that clung to our thoughts begin to loosen, and the fear that once held us still starts to dissolve. This psalm is not just a proclamation, it is an invitation to allow God's presence to reshape us from within. Consider for a moment the image of gates lifting. They rise upward, drawing our eyes to the heavens. There is a spiritual posture here, lifting our focus from what weighs us down to the one who lifts us up. How often do we look only at what is before us? The challenges, the uncertainties, the responsibilities that feel endless? Psalm 24 gently redirects our gaze. It reminds us that there is someone greater than every circumstance, someone whose strength outlasts our weakness and whose love reaches deeper than our wounds. The question repeated in the psalm, "Who is this King of glory?" invites us to reflect on who God truly is in our lives. Not simply a distant figure or a concept we recite, but a living presence. The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. This is not the image of a God who stands far away watching our struggles. This is a God who enters the battlefield with us. A God who shields, who fights, who restores. And within every struggle you faced, He has never abandoned you. Even when you felt alone, He was there, steady as a silent defender. Think of the battles you carry today. Some visible, some hidden. Maybe it's the battle of discouragement, or the burden of responsibility, or the quiet ache of the heart that longs for peace. Maybe it's the battle of fear, the one that whispers that you are not enough or that things will never change. But the King of Glory does not enter your life to condemn you for these battles. He enters to strengthen you in them. He comes not as a judge to point out your weaknesses, but as a warrior who stands at your side. As you let these truths settle within you, imagine the presence of God like a rising dawn. The night does not end abruptly. It fades slowly as light grows stronger. In the same way, the light of God replaces the darkness within us, not by force, but with gentle, persistent grace. His presence fills the spaces we thought were too broken, too fragile, or too forgotten. He brings renewal where we expected only emptiness. And as the psalm calls out once more, "Lift up your heads, you gates," listen to it as a message spoken directly to your heart. Lift your head, not in pride, but in hope. Lift your head because the King of Glory is near. Lift your head because God has not finished His work in you. What you carry today is not the end of your story. The one who enters is faithful, and where He is present, transformation begins. As we stand before the mystery of Psalm 24, a quiet awareness grows within us. If the King of Glory is approaching, then something in us is also being called to move. We are not only spectators of this psalm, we are participants in it. The gates that must be lifted are not buildings or monuments. They are our minds, our emotions, our memories, our wounds. And the voice of God, through these ancient words, continues to reach us today, right where we are, in the reality of our everyday lives. Lift up your heads, you gates. Perhaps your head has been bowed by worry, by shame, by exhaustion. Perhaps you have walked with your eyes fixed on the ground, carrying responsibilities that seem heavier with each passing day. Maybe you have been praying for answers that have not yet come, and part of you feels tired of hoping. Yet the psalm does not say, "Lift up your heads when everything is resolved." It simply says, "Lift up your heads." It is a call to hope before the miracle, to trust before the full understanding, to open the heart before seeing the outcome. In this moment, allow these words to touch the places where you feel weakest. The King of Glory is not intimidated by your limitations. He is not surprised by your fears. He knows the story behind every tear, every silence, every sigh that no one else hears. When He comes, He does not step into a perfect life. He steps into a real one. And it is in the reality of your story, with its struggles and its beauty, that His grace wants to dwell. Think of how the psalm repeats the same call, "Lift up your heads, you gates, that the King of Glory may come in." God does not repeat Himself because He is unsure, but because we often need to hear things more than once. Sometimes our hearts have become so used to disappointment that they resist hope. Sometimes we have listened to so many other voices, of fear, of accusation, of comparison, that the gentle voice of God seems distant. Yet he continues to call, patiently, faithfully, without giving up on us. The King of Glory who comes is strong and mighty, but he is also gentle and close. He does not break a bruised reed, he does not extinguish a faint flame. He knows how to speak to a tired soul. He knows how to calm a stormed mind. He knows how to touch the wounds that we ourselves no longer know how to handle. And when we allow him to enter, we begin to experience a peace that does not depend on circumstances, a peace that flows from his presence. Now, as we draw nearer to our time of prayer, let your heart begin to prepare itself like a gate that slowly rises. You do not need to force feelings or search for perfect words. All that is needed is a sincere openness. Lord, here I am. I open my heart to you. In a few moments, we will turn these reflections into a living prayer. But even now, in this silence, the King of Glory is already near, already knocking, already ready to enter wherever he finds an open door. Let us now turn our hearts toward God in a spirit of deep reverence and trust. As the words of Psalm 24 echo within us, let this moment become a place where heaven touches our lives. Lord, our God, King of Glory, we come before you with open hearts. You who created the earth and everything in it, you who established the world upon the waters, we lift our souls to you. We acknowledge that you are strong and mighty, mighty in battle, the one who defends us, heals us, and walks with us through every valley and every high place. Today, Lord, we lift the gates of our hearts. Every gate that fear has closed, every door that discouragement has weighed down, every passageway that sorrow has darkened, we raise them now before you. Enter, King of Glory. Enter with your light that disperses the shadows. Enter with your peace that calms the storms within us. Enter with your presence that transforms what we cannot change on our own. We ask you, Lord, to cleanse our hands and purify our hearts, not by our merit, but by your mercy. Remove from us anything that keeps us distant from you, every bitterness, every burden, every hidden pain. Give us the grace to walk in truth, in humility, and in openness to your will. Let our hearts become a dwelling place where your presence rests, where your voice is heard, and where your guidance leads us. Bless, Lord, every person who prays with us now. Look upon their struggles, their unspoken prayers, their hopes, and their tears. You know each one by name, and you know the weight each soul carries. Pour out your strength where there is weakness. Pour out renewal where there is fatigue. Pour out healing where there has been hurt. Let every life be touched by the power of your compassion. Lord, when we face battles, remind us that you are mighty. When we feel unworthy, remind us that you are merciful. When we feel lost, remind us that you are our shepherd. When we feel overwhelmed, remind us that you are our refuge. Lift our spirits and anchor us in your truth. And now, King of Glory, we ask you to enter fully into every area of our lives. Enter our homes, our relationships, our decisions, our fears, our hopes, and our future. Stand with us, fight for us, guide us, transform us, that we may walk in the light of your love and live as people who trust in your presence. We proclaim with faith, who is this King of Glory, the Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle? And we welcome you, Lord, into our hearts today and always. Amen.